Good March morning to y'all, everybody. Y'all notice a little something different this morning? That's right, I got on a new shirt. And that just goes to what I'm gonna open this video with, just to let y'all know that we've heard you and we're working to meet a demand. We're partnering with a very local family-owned business to bring you some merchandise. I know a lot of y'all have been asking about it last 6 months or so, and we finally gotten over some of the hurdles that was preventing us from doing it. Namely, we had to find somebody that we trust that would be able to actually make the gear, sell it for a reasonable price, and take orders, ship it out, and all that kind of stuff, just because we simply don't have the time to do it. So we think we found that perfect family to do it with, and really close to bringing you a full lineup of stuff I think you might like. So stay tuned for future videos, and when everything gets finalized, we got all the stuff ready to sell, we'll let you know. Yep, that's right. It's already time for burn down. Pretty dang early this year, you know, first part of March. Normally we don't do our burn down strips until mid-March, later March, but we're definitely a week ahead of normal here. Things starting to green up pretty quick. We've definitely had an unseasonably warm February, and already gotten things started going. Went to spray burn down in the yards, got Bermuda grass starting to put back out, and it's time to get this year started. So don't have much to do to here. We just got to put our burn down nozzles in right here that spray the strip in between the hoods to kill the cover crop. Run some water through it, make sure it's not any leaks. Load my guidance lines. I think we'll be ready to hit the field probably for about a day or so before the next round of rain moves here. So we're gonna get out. All right, we been working on this longer than I was anticipating. I was hoping to get started maybe about 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's now right after 4. Well, we got all the little odds and ends on it done. We got all our drop tips installed. Of course, I didn't plug the hoses up, so I had a bunch of dirt dauber's nest and other crap up in them, so had to do a bunch of unplugging, but we're loaded up, calibrated, got all my guidance lines and the monitor loaded, and I think we're ready to go spray a few burn down strips, so I'll see you out here in the field. All right, this is a view y'all hadn't seen in quite a few months. And it's a view I haven't seen in a few months. We back in the tractor, getting our burn down strips sprayed. Everything's working all right. Starting out there, we had a problem with our auto steer. Kept on getting a fault for battery voltage too low to the nav2. Don't really know what that was about. Just kept playing around with it, and it kept on and it finally worked itself out. I don't know if that's we got a bad connection in a wiring harness or what. If I had to guess, I'd say that's probably what it is, but I don't have any idea where it might be. And my laptop, I don't think my laptop is capable of diagnosing the CAN bus on the navigation with the GPS and all that. Just the rest of the tractor electronics and stuff, I don't think I can do anything with the navigation stuff. But anyway, if it continues on, I might have to make a call to the tech, see if they can help me out. Because I cannot do this job without auto steer, because you know, there's no markers or anything on the hooded sprayer, and the strips that I'm spraying is what I'm going to plant back into. So I have a nice killed strip with my planter, and I need to be able to log my guidance lines on this tractor and transfer them over to my planter tractor so I can plant straight back into those strips using RTK guidance. But anyway, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you're no stranger to what I'm doing here. But if you just started watching us, you know, last spring or farther on, You know, what we're doing is we're spraying our burn down strips into our cover crop. We're really big on building our soils and the soil health, and cover crops is a big part of that. And to get the maximum benefit of cover crops, you know, we got to let them grow as long as possible. And we actually prefer to plant our cash crop, whether it be corn, soybeans, or cotton, into a green living cover to get the maximum amount of benefits, especially like weed control. But when you're planting late April through mid-May, you know, these cover crops are going to be a whole lot taller, a whole lot more biomass that you got to plant into, and the planters have a more difficult time of more accurately placing seed. So by doing this, we're spraying an 8-inch wide band, and we're leaving 30 inches of protected cover crop underneath the hoods, and we're killing that 8-inch wide band, and then our planter can then plant into that strip where the cover crop is dead and the residue is almost decayed. It's about as easy as planting no-till, but the middles in between the rows, the cover crop continues to grow and gives us all the benefit, and it's really been a game changer on us getting our crops planted, especially cotton. Corn not near as critical. It's a lot easier planting into cover crops with corn than it is cotton. Well, because we're planting earlier with corn, not planting through near as much biomass, plus we're sinking the seed quite a bit deeper in the ground, so it's easier to get the seed in the soil. But on cotton, this has been absolutely huge for us. But anyway, normally, you know, like last year, I think we were doing this probably mid-March, maybe the third week of March or so, and here it is, we're at the very beginning of the second week of March because we've had an unusually warm February in these cover crops. I mean, they went into dormancy, you know, some in late December, mid-January, but last half of January and February, they've done some growing, and you know, if I don't get in here now and spray them, they're going to start getting pretty tall, going to be harder to kill, harder to get good coverage on them to kill them. So we're having to get out here a little bit sooner than what I'd normally like to spray these strips, but today the ground's nice and firm, holding us up, but it's only going to be that way for a day or so, and then we got more cool weather predicted to come in, so don't know, after tomorrow, I don't know when we'll get back out here and spray. For one thing, the cover crops won't be growing as robustly as what they have been the last few weeks. And another thing is, well, you know, it's springtime, the soils are wet and they take a while to dry up, and I don't know when we'll be able to get back in here with dry soils. But anyway, we're probably going to try and spray about another 30 minutes or so. That sun's starting to get a little low in the sky, and what I found out in the past is that you spray late in the day, especially spring, kind of little cool conditions, the cover crops just don't take up the Roundup very well, and then we don't get a good kill. So we definitely need to stop before sunset so the plant's got time to take the chemical in and start the termination process. Hopefully no more bugs pop up this afternoon, and we'll be ready to blow and go tomorrow morning, see what we can get done tomorrow. Well, so much for spraying this morning. The weatherman lied again. I thought we were going to get till early mid-afternoon anyway, but nope, not going to happen. So back down to the shop. We still got plenty of stuff to do. Well, let's get that shop door closed, get some heat going on here. It's chilly. All right, I got the combine inspection report emailed me from H&R, and we don't have a lot of stuff to do. It's in really good shape. Run over what I know we got to do. Up here inside the belly, all of our chopper knives, we're going to have to reverse them, get a new leading edge on them. This pulley and bearing right here we replaced last year, but this pulley is kind of loose on the key. Got to figure out why. On the key, we'll put the wrong key in there, or if it's wore or what, do that. Like they said, the bearing on this impeller is bad, needs to be replaced. Got another bushing right here where the concave pivots. We worked on that last year, but I guess that the hole is a little egged out, so gonna have to figure that out. We got a hub up there that's starting to get a little bit of slack in the bushings. We replaced that last year though, so Don't really understand that, but the bushings on these machines, especially like the pivot points, are super thin, and I mean they just wear out real quick. And then you get into the housing, then you gotta replace the whole housing. So definitely a lot easier and cheaper to replace bushings. The brush that goes around our rotary screen start to get real stiff and wore. Need to replace that. That's what keeps a lot of dirt and dust and stuff from getting into the air filter and also the radiator. And then here up under the feeder house, we've got a seal that goes where the feeder house pivots going back into the rotor. We'll have to replace that. And then I guess the biggest projects is the seal on the drive on my unloading auger, where the auger fits down on the gearbox, is going out. Well, that just lets water and stuff get into the oil on the gearbox, and then you're gonna have bearings and stuff going down. So we're gonna drop that off, but we don't want to take the auger out, so we're going to have to find a way to support the auger while dropping this gear case here, replace the seal on that. And then the hydro drive motor in there, got a seal leaking there, and that's allowing oil from my PTO up here to drain out into the hydraulic system, and there's a weep hole on the bottom there that the mechanic says is damp. We'll have to pull that hydro motor off and replace that seal. Not a terrible list of projects, not a lot of money in reparts, just going to be a little bit of labor. I think the estimate from Case IH for me to take it down there and then replace everything that it needs was going to be about $6,000. Probably 2/3 to 3/4 of that was going to be labor, so we're going to save several dollars, spend a few days and get it done ourselves. Also, fuel tank breather, got to replace it, and then we're going to give it a full service, oil change and everything else. You're going to learn the insides and outs of this combine pretty good.
Let's get to it, I guess. It's only one way to learn it.
Well, you're the small guy, you're the skinny guy, so guess where I'm going to stick you?
Right up inside.
That's right, right up inside. I'm going to get you reversing chopper knives while I get parts ordered and go get parts.
Yeah, it's a nice open room in there, isn't it?
It actually ain't that bad. It's just getting up in. It's actually just getting up in there and kind of hard on my knees and stuff. Latch right here, just pull it out on both sides. And this. Kind of wiggle it where it locks in place. No, the latch there. That lamp does have the added benefit of warming up inside where the heat's not reaching. The steel's kind of cold.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, make sure you keep off of those sieves. That stuff being super easy.
Very, very easy. Yeah, so we're changing these.
Well, we're not changing. We're gonna swap them around. The rotor spins over the top like that, and you can kind of see how the edges are rounded off or dull on a lot of them, but on the back side it's got a fresh blade on it. So I'm gonna take them off and just swap them around. Like those two right there will be turned around and swapped from one side to the other.
All right, that makes it sense.
All right, here's some blue Loctite. Put just a dab of blue Loctite. I don't want to dope them up real good, but if any of those bolts come off, then it's going to start knocking, and it might just sling the blade off, and it slings it off. You can see the damage up there. I mean, the fuel tank's right up there, so we want to make sure they don't come off.
Avoid that. Alright, we'll start first. See if I'm going the right way.
As hard as some of those are, you might want to break it loose with the other one there. I apologize, my audio didn't record on these next few clips, but anyway, getting the hard part out of the way, taking the hydrostat motor off of the combine here because that seal is, guess how much?
Way too much to be messing with.
The seal in the Hydrostat motor plus 7 O-rings that comes with the kit was $668. So if I'm gonna spend that kind of money, we're gonna do a little something more to the motor. So I'm pretty sure I can get the seal for a whole lot cheaper at More Pumps and Friendship. So we're gonna take the motor off and take it down there. I'm just gonna have them go ahead and go through the motor. This combine's got about 4,000 hours on it. It still pulls fine, but if we're gonna take the motor off, we're gonna get it checked out, see what kind of shape the hydrostatic drive system is in, and get a seal a lot cheaper too. So we're gonna go ahead and get this hard part out of the way.
Might as well let the professionals do
them. My skin get a little dry. I hadn't had a hydraulic oil bath in about a week. You ready to get a little messy?
Yeah, let's see if we can roll around in it a little bit. Maybe nothing too much.
All right. Well, surprisingly, that job turned out to be a whole lot easier than what I anticipated. Definitely one of the easier hydrostats motors I've taken off. All right, Andy. While I'm gone getting that motor taken to More Pumps, I'm gonna have you replacing these rasp bars here. Now these straight bars right here, we're going to leave them on, but the individual rasp bars, they've got 20 of them. We got 5 rows from right here to the back of the row, and there's 4 around on each row. Replace them. There's no nut behind the bolt. All that's threaded, but just zap them out with a impact wrench. Make sure you clean out all the dirt up underneath the pedestal real good so the rotor's balanced when we put them back on. And then the front 2 concaves here on each side, take them off because we're going to go back with our wheat concaves on that.
All right.
Andy got the rasp bars on the back half replaced. These rasp bars go on the rotor. This is what actually moves the material around the rotor and against the concaves that were right here. These don't actually do the threshing. These are just actually used to move the material, and the concaves here, as the material is moving around the rotor, it rubs against the concaves and rubs against the other crop, and that's what threshes the crop out. Anyway, we're replacing the ones on the back half. You can see right there it's worn down pretty good, and then this lip is worn down pretty good where it's going to be start getting in the head of the bolt. Whereas you look at the ones on the front, they've been replaced more recently than the back ones, and they're still in good shape. See, that leading edge is looking pretty good, and I think these are different materials. See how they're. I think these are probably just standard wear, and these right here are either chrome or extended wear. I don't know which one. But anyway, the ones we replaced here on the back, you see they kind of got a spike right there as opposed to this old one right there. We're changing up the configuration a little bit, and what that spike does is it kind of rakes through the crop material and help release any seeds that might be carried on out the back. So what we're doing putting those on is just trying to help against rotor loss a little bit. And those are extended wears, so I don't know if they're the same as these right here, but we shouldn't have to touch those for quite a long time. All right, now we're going to get started on this side of the combine. So that's loose right there. We're going to put a new keyway in there, and hopefully the pulley is okay, and hopefully it's just the keyway keeping that loose. And then right here, this is the middle impeller and the return thresher, or the rethresher, whatever you want to call it. And anyway, I think that bearing's good, but the bearing on the back side here is getting pretty dry. So we're going to pull that out and look inside the rethresher there. right, got this out and oh, it still feels surprisingly good. We still gonna replace it. We got this far out. All right, I'm gonna measure how far on the shaft this stuff is so we can get it exactly the right depth again. God bless. Boy, sit down on that sucker. Bent my daggum Allen wrench. Oh boy, it's burning, not gonna come off easy. And she ain't budging at all.
Plan B.
That was my plan B.
Plan D.
Plan C is a smoke wrench.
Can't be tight if it's liquid.
You're right. That's probably a $200 pulley though.
Probably a $300 shaft.
I can do it without getting the shaft, but pulley partly fine. You can't get it off, and I can't replace that other bearing without getting it off. Pisses me off when they don't use anti-seize when putting this stuff back together. All right, while Andy and I were at lunch, we both had an idea about how to maybe get this pulley off. He suggested taking a punch and knocking that keyway that way just to try and break some of that rust. Now we can't knock it far because there's not enough of a gap, but if we can just get that part broke loose, that might allow this pulley to come on off. And then if that doesn't work, I've got a little bit more extreme idea that we might try. All right, got the key to move a good way. See if the pulley comes off now. I still don't think it's letting it move.
Still ain't moving?
No, the key punched out, but the pulley's not moving. Let's try a bigger hammer. All right, it's moved. It moved a little bit. Kind of burning up the end of my shaft. I'm gonna have to definitely grind it off, but it's better than nothing. Tell you, you get that sledgehammer over there and give her a couple licks. All right, don't hit my hand, and try and hit it square down on there so we don't flare it out anymore. All right, hold up. Now all we're doing is flaring that out. It's kind of stopped. Well, that idea got us part of the way. I guess it's on the plan C.